Well, it's 7:15. I slept pretty well, and it has forecast rain today, but bits of blue sky at the moment. Hills are looking really impressive, and I'm heading over in this direction, about a kilometre, and then we break left up a very steep hill. Hopefully catch a good 4x4 track. It's a pretty good place to stay, a little bit boggy, but the tent held up well, and fabulous scenery. Look at that. And there we go, 5 to 8, quite a lot of faffing around, but hey ho, and I'm ready to go. This next bit is going to be hard work, I think, but I'm hoping to reach Kinlochhorn today, and I don't suppose there'll be a bed and breakfast with any free rooms, but if there is, I'm going to jump at the chance, but I'm assuming I'm going to camp there. Well, that section behind me, about half a kilometre, was really heavy going. Although there does look, I've just joined a path that looks like it comes over the top. So although the guidebook says to go down where I was camped and things like that, I'm not sure it looks like a slightly easier way to go up over the top. But there we are. I've just seen another couple of walkers who seem to be on the other side of the river. So be interested to see what they're doing. I've got to walk on for about another half kilometre and then break up and then join the 4x4 track. So tough way to start the day, but good fun.
Yeah, they may take pictures.
Well, it's a hard old climb. I'm climbing with Rosa, who I met just past my campsite. I'm rather glad I'm with someone, actually. Still got to go up to the top there, I think. Well, I think I've got to say that getting up here is one of the hardest things I've ever done. So, got to the top. So once you get to the top, there's a fair old path that takes you down. Looking forward to getting to Barrows-dale now. Wonderful view down into Barrows-dale Bay. Look at that. And walking down the track to Barrows-dale Bay. Fairly tough day today so far, but beautiful scenery, and although it was forecast to rain, it stayed okay. It's a little bit cooler this side of the valley, but good walking, if rather tiring. I'm just crossing the bridge that takes us to Barrows-dale Bothy. It's 10 to 1, and I've got to admit, I feel like I've done a full day's walking already. Started at 8 o'clock, and it's been a tough old day so far, but I still want to press on and see if I can get to Kinlochhorn. We'll see. So I just stopped at Barrows-dale Bothy for about half an hour. It's quite busy, there are quite a few people there. You can stay at the estate, 150 quid for 2 people, which was very tempting, but need to press on. And there's Barrows-dale Bay, and we're just going round the headland, which apparently is a clear path, but 3 to 4 hours of quite hard walking. And I must admit, I'd be glad to get to Kinloch Horn. On the Harvest map it suggests there's a campsite, but I don't think there is. There's a cafe, but I think that'll be closed by the time I get there. This is Barrisdale Bay, and it's beautiful. Lovely. So, walking the path from Barrisdale to Kinloch Horn, I'm just under halfway. That's Runeval there. It's a bit of a slog, a few ups and downs, and a few bits where the path is a little bit sketchy due to erosion, but it's okay. I'll just be very pleased to get to Kinloch Horn. So it's about 3:30 at the moment. So should get to Kinloch Horn by 5:30 at the latest. Rather beautiful though, isn't it? Okay, it's Saturday night and it's map time. So I started off from where I'd camped here. This bit of terrain is very difficult, but I managed to get around there. And just there I met Rosa, who was a Dutch woman who was camping, and she asked if she could walk with me, and I was very pleased to have a companion. We walked on for a little bit, and then rather than follow this bit here, we cut up here. This was hard work. It took us about an hour to get up there, and it was really rough and 45 degrees, just hard work and quite unpleasant. But we actually managed to hit the track. It says it's a clear track, but it's a little bit indistinct in places. Again, it goes up, and then down. So it's hard work all the way along here. And really, by the time we got to Barrisdale, which was about 1 o'clock, we really felt we'd done a good day's walking. But I wanted to get to Kinloch Horn, so left Barrisdale. Well, we stopped there for some lunch and stuff like that. And I also met up with the Andrew and David, I think it is, the two chaps that I met on the ferry on the first day. So we were walking relatively close together. This bit is okay, and then this bit is horrible, particularly at the end of a long day. Bits of the track are fine, but bits of it go down and up and stony and boggy, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's only about 9 kilometres, but it took me just over 3 hours. I have marked some possible campsites there, but I wasn't sure that they were good places. And then finally, when you get past Sciarry, you actually go down and then you follow the loch side, and then it gets a bit easier. And it takes you into Kinloch Horn. There's a bed and breakfast here, which I got to Kinloch Horn at just past 5 o'clock. It was just starting to rain. So I popped into the bed and breakfast and asked if they had any rooms, and unfortunately they were fully booked. But they managed to squeeze me in for something to eat. They don't really do much in the way of mass catering there, because there are only 4 people eating. And they had a lamb stew, but I'm vegetarian, so I had some nice soup and some cake and coffee and things like that. It's quite expensive, but it was fine. And then you just walk up here and just cross the bridge, and there's the bridge there, and that's where I'm camped now. It's been a tough day today, really hard work. Rosa was going to walk with me up to Morvich tomorrow and then pack it in, but it was enough for her, and she ordered a taxi. Unfortunately, she got here about 6 and the taxi couldn't pick her up till about 9:30. But I think she just realised it was too much, and I can completely sympathise with that. I mean, the scenery has been fantastic, but it's a tough walk. Today and tomorrow are supposed to be the 2 toughest days, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. Well, good morning. It's Sunday and day 5, and just leaving Kinlochhorn. The last bit of the trail from Barrisdale to Kinlochhorn was pretty tough yesterday after the hard day of walking. I walked the last bit, the flat bit, very fast and managed to get here about 5:10, so not bad going. Just as it started to rain, there's a little B&B and I popped in, but unfortunately no rooms available. But they did manage to give me some soup and some cake and stuff, which was very nice. And set up camp and slept moderately well. So I'm a bit trepidatious about today, but we'll see how it goes. Going over the Forecand Ridge, but the big bonus is that hopefully we get to Glen Shield campsite, which would be nice.
Do this while behind the camera.
So that's where we've come. Very stiff climb getting us out of Kinlochhorn, and that's the track that follows the pylons. That is the long track. I'm walking with Andy and David, I think, which I'm a bit comforted by, because otherwise I thought it's going to be a tough day. So nearly at the top. It's been a difficult climb. I'm knackered. Wonderful view.
Well, not a mountain, but quite a big hill. So this is our 5th night, is it?
Yeah.
And that's where we've come from. And we're about 4 kilometres from Shield Bridge, walking down by the river. So an hour and a bit, hopefully. So it's nice to be following this easy path into Glen Shield. About half a kilometre to go. It's 3:30 today. So I've been walking for about 8 hours with a couple of stops, and we haven't done a huge amount of distance, but it's been a lot of up and down. It's been a tough day. Luckily, yesterday and today are supposed to be the 2 toughest days on the Catrath Trail. But when I get to the campsite, I think I might cut down some of my longer days, make it slightly easier for myself. Was camped here. Rosa, the Dutch woman I met, had decided to go home, so she ended up sitting outside in the rain in the bed and breakfast, waiting for a taxi for 3.5 hours. So that took her back to Fort William. But I did meet up with David and Andy, who I'd met on the ferry and I'd seen once or twice. And I was very pleased that I had some company walking with them. So we walked up here, which was okay. And then here, you can actually follow the line of the pylons, but it's a long way. It's about 19 miles. It looks like an easier route, but I don't really know that. So anyway, we decided to go up. And this was really hard work. Hole up here, slog up here, little wooden shelter that's obvious. And then you break left across the river and follow the path up. And then you run out of path, basically. And the next bit is tough in the extreme. Where are we? No path. Slogging up to Sigurnarsbeen. And we saw the Lochen up here, but we couldn't really quite get to it. So we got slightly, well, not really lost, but we were umming and erring there. And then we went round the Falcon Ridge, and all of this was really hard climbing. It was rocky, it was pathless, it was really difficult. We did pick up a path along here, but again the path sort of fades out, and then you're going round here, and again tough. It's going on to the next map. You're then descending all the way along here, steep descent all the way, slightly before that, and then following the river. And once you get onto the river floor, the path starts getting a bit better and it's not too bad. And then these last few kilometres seem to take ages, and then you actually just pick up a decent path, still quite steep, but you get to Glenshiel campsite. And we stayed at Glenshiel campsite, and it was lovely. It had showers, very nice showers, had clean toilets. We also did our washing and tumble dried it, and we walked up to Kintail Lodge. We managed to book that from up in a mountain, and we were pleased we did, because they were booked out. And we had a reasonable meal, expensive. We paid £55 each, but it was just nice to have a 3-course meal and a pint. Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. Stayed at the Glenshiel campsite last night, which was very nice. Just what I wanted after a tough day. Did my washing, so everything is clean on. They've got washing machines and dryers, which was nice. Picked up my resupply parcel, so that's good. When we were up a mountain, I booked a table at the Kintail Lodge. Pleased I did, because they were all booked out, and had an expensive but okay meal there, and a nice pint. And didn't sleep particularly well, probably because my body wasn't used to a 3-course meal, which is what I had. Faffed around a bit this morning, and finally got away at about 9:15. and stopped at the Wee Bun Shop by the Kintail Lodge for a very nice cheese toastie and coffee. Enjoyed that. I've decided to make life a little bit easier for myself by walking up to, well, I was going to go up to Strathcarron anyway, avoiding the Falls of Glomach. So the bit just after the turning to the Falls of Glomach is going to be a bit arduous, I think. But the rest of the route should be okay. And then I've booked a room at the Strathcarron Hotel for tomorrow night, Tuesday night, which will be nice to sort of regroup and see how things are going. Also, I think there's football on, so I shall enjoy watching that. And hopefully I've booked a table there for dinner. I must admit I'm feeling quite tired now, but it's been very challenging, but it's been a good walk. And touch wood, the weather's kept okay, but I think we're going to have some rain today. Started off with nice sunny weather, but it's getting cloudy and I can already feel a few drips. So we'll see how we go today. I'm going to wild camp somewhere near Nonach Lodge, I hope. But I'm not really quite sure what the terrain is going to be like. So somewhere there, anywhere there. And then a short walk to Strathcarron tomorrow. And then another relatively short day to Anachshalach campsite, just past the station at a place called Lair. So looking back towards Glen Shiel, and we're just by the A87, which is quite a big noisy road, but just up there where the buildings are, we branch off right to Morvich. Oh, that's looking back towards Morvich, and just left the road and onto a little footpath that goes through the gate and then winds its way round, I think, into the forest there. I think we've got a fairly stiff climb there, but we'll have a look. And then where the path goes right to the Falls of Glomach, I'm going to just carry on north. And that's looking back to Glen Shiel. Just come down this little footpath. Nice easy walking so far. And then you'll see this marker post which says Foul, that means falls, and we go down there, and you might be able to see in the middle of the picture a gate through there and then through the cut in the forest. Looking back the way we've come, and we were very close to that snow-peaked mountain yesterday at about this time, I suppose. It's nearly midday, and we're going up here. Few little spits and spots of rain, but at the moment not really amounting to anything. Or having said that, I think it's starting to get heavier, so I might stop and put my rainwear on. We've just gone through a wiggly bit, just past the turn off right to the Falls of Glomach. You wheel to the left and to the right and the left again, and then there's this slope. It's about 250 metres long. Can't see it on the camera, but it's 45 degree angle all the way up. Bit of a killer, but got there. Still going up quite a bit. I think we've got to go up for about another kilometre and a half or something like that. But I don't think it'll be quite as heavy going. I think there'll be a fair bit contouring. And then I think we've got about 3 kilometres till we cross the river and turn left up to Nonach Lodge. And if I can get there and there's somewhere to camp, that's probably where I'll go. I'll see how I'm feeling. It's 12:30, so I'm doing pretty well. Well, it's been a stiff old climb, but it's levelled out a little bit now, and you can see how far we've gone up. We started sort of past the forest just down there. I don't know whether it's sea level, but it's certainly loch level. The sun's been trying to come out, but it's also been very slightly rainy. And there's a slightly icy wind coming along. So put a few more layers on just as I've stopped for lunch. And look at the scenery. What a spot for lunch, eh? Wish I knew the names of the mountains, but I don't. And that's the direction that we're going. I think we go up and over the sort of Belach, and then there's a descent for about 3/4 of a kilometre, which looks quite tough, and then we meet the river on the other side. Well, it was a fairly stiff ascent, a sloppy old path that occasionally disappeared, and we're now coming down, and there we go, and we're going to join that track. We're going to ford the stream and then join the track, which turns into a very minor road and should make for nice easy walking. It's been raining for an hour or so and it's just about cleared up, but again the scenery is fabulous. Looks like a much wider river, or possibly a loch in the distance there. A little bit grey, but it's okay. It's slightly chilly, but pretty good for May. So, not a bad day. It's about 2:45 now, so hopefully I'll be down at the track by about 3:15 and then be able to crack on for a bit. Well, I've just come from down there, and there was a path for most of the way, and then it just sort of petered out, or I couldn't see it. So I've been coming down very slowly sideways, and it's taken me a good half hour to get almost to the valley floor. And luckily the sun was out, but it's just started to rain now. So I'm just sort of heading straight over here and then going right parallel with the river, and there's a ford, I hope, and then just beyond the river is the track, which should be nice. Well, there's supposed to be a ford down there, and I can't really see any evidence of it, and the water's only about a foot deep here and it's moving very slowly, so I think I will wade through. First wade of the trip. Let's see. So the ford was pretty easy. It's only about a foot deep, and the water wasn't flowing very fast, so I crossed quite quickly. Stopped here to the side of the bank to bring out my socks and put my over trousers on down there, and in true fashion it pretty much stopped raining then, but it's a bit variable in actually the socks, although there's still a few drops of rain. So I'm just going to have something to eat and drink here, and then crack on the path down there, which turns into a road, and hopefully in about 3 miles I should be able to find a campspot. It's about straight down, so it's quite a long descent. The Highland queues are a bit close for comfort. Let's turn my back on them and hope that they don't chase after me. And that's where I've come from, and I came over the top of that and down, and the little white building in the middle of the picture is marked as a bunkhouse on the Harvey's map, but I'm pretty sure it's a private dwelling now, which is a shame, but there we are. And a couple of miles down here is Nonach Lodge, and I'm hoping there'll be somewhere to pitch here. It's been very wet, but the sun's come out, hooray! So it's easy walking, if slightly tedious. Well, I've got a good camp spot right next to the river, which was good. about 12k from Strathcarron. So I can afford to have a fairly leisurely day tomorrow. I am going to walk the roadway by Atwood Gardens, is it? Atterdale Gardens. Just because it'll be easier. I know the guidebook doesn't recommend it, but I've seen other people doing it. I'm eating Adventure Nutrition vegetable korma, which is pretty good. One of the best dehydrated meals that I've had. Doesn't quite taste like your Indian takeaway, but it's fairly tasty. It's been an okay day today. Stiff climb first thing, and then a long descent, and the path ran out and I couldn't find how to get down, so I had to just shuffle down the side of the hill, and then ford the river, and then a long old slog along the road. And I was listening to music and missed the turn off, so I went about 15 minutes out my way, cursing myself, and had to turn around, and it was raining quite hard for most of the afternoon. I've only seen a few people today. I didn't see anyone from Morvich to joining the crossing over the river. Then I saw a cyclist and another walker going in a different direction. Still raining on and off, but luckily I got here and so set my tent up just before it started pouring with rain again. So map time for today. I left Glen Shiel Lodge. I didn't get up particularly early and did a bit of faffing around and had some porridge and stuff like that. So it was about 10 o'clock before I finally left. Andy and David, who I'd walked with before, were going up to the Falls of Glomach, and I decided not to do that. So followed up here, and you're following the road. At the Kintail Lodge Hotel, there's a little place called the Wee Bun Shop, which seemed to be open. I think the lady said that she opened today, Bank Holiday Monday, in May, and that was her first day of opening. And that was really nice, actually. Had a cheese toastie and a coffee there, so that was good. And followed the path, takes you away from the road, and then you join the road, and then you bear off right, and it's signed to Morvich, and you follow this nice quiet road which takes you all the way up. Pleasant walk, slight incline, takes you up to the campsite, which is camping and caravan site, a little bit off the beaten track. I don't know what facilities they have, but it might be worth a look. And then you carry on following the road to the Kintail Outdoor Centre, and then you break left and pick up a nice little path. Takes you up here, past the little river, and then you break up through the forest. And again, it was a pleasant track going up a little bit. Here, you break off right to go to the Falls of Glomach, and I decided to go up here onto the next map. So I had this highlighted, but the rain's got to it. So just after the sign to the Falls of Glomach, you actually come off the path and follow up here. And this is really steep. It goes up sort of 45 degrees for about half a kilometre, And yeah, I mean, it's okay, but it's just really hard walking. And then you climb, fairly tough going. Path is a bit indistinct in lots of places. And you get to the top, and then you can actually see this little road here from the top. Getting down was difficult. There's a pretty good path that takes you round to here, and then it just seems to sort of peter out. So I ended up shimmying down the side of the hill, which took about an hour because I didn't really want to go flat on my face. It is signposted to a ford somewhere up here, and I couldn't see that at all. So I walked backwards and forwards for a little bit, and then the river was quite low. It was only about a foot high. It was quite a wide river, but it wasn't running very fast. I found a bit that was running quietly, and I just waded across and then climbed up the bankside, and then you get to a track, a really obvious track actually. It's a sort of gravel track and things like that, and there are places where you can camp along there. I stopped and squeezed out my socks and changed my clothes and things like that, and then I started on here. It started to rain quite hard here, so I put on all my wet weather gear, and this is fine, but it's just a real slog. Carry on here, and eventually you meet Real Road, but it's, I think I was passed by 3 cars. You carry on to Fadosh. This, which is marked as a bunkhouse, is no longer a bunkhouse. It's a private dwelling, so don't even think about it. Carried on slogging up the road to Kilian. There's a parking sign there, but there's not really anything there at all. You go across the bridge. I was listening to some music and I missed this turning. It just says Nonach private road, and I ended up going slightly off the map here. So luckily I realised. I came up here. You got the private road, which is fine, through a couple of houses, and then on this sloppy, unpleasant, very wet track. It's quite boggy. It's wet enough that there are little tadpoles living on the track. There are 2 tracks actually, which is not marked on the Harvey's map, but it's marked on the OS. And I think it's probably better to take the lower track, so you're very close to the river, because around here, on the upper track, I couldn't see anywhere to camp at all. So I got up here and skirted back to the lower track. And then rather than try and find these campsites that I'd marked here, I carried on here, and I'm here tonight, which is actually a lovely place to camp. It's just normal grass. It's wet because it's been raining very hard, but it's not boggy, and you're very close to the river as well, so easy to filter water and stuff like that. It's about 9:10 now, and this is where I pitched up. Nice flat spot of ground, and that's the direction I've come in. The path is just over that little hummock, and this is the direction we'll be going tomorrow. Not very nice path, it's very wet, but I think it only lasts for about 4 kilometres, and then we pick up a better track. But it's a really good spot, this, and it's nice and easy to get water, and it's rather beautiful. So I'm pleased with that. Well, it's just past 10. I had a leisurely morning because I didn't need to rush or anything like that. And that's where I camped. And there's the river. And the sun's out. Hooray! It's a bit cloudy, but it's still nice. And so off we go. So it's Tuesday, the 5th of March. It's day 7. I found days 4 and 5 fairly punishing. So decided to make life easy for myself. And rather than going to Achnarshalach today, or yesterday, I decided to book into the Strathcarron hotel. Not sure what it'll be like, but there we are. So it's only a about 7 miles today. That also gives me a short day tomorrow up to Aden, just about a kilometre east of the station is a campsite called Lair, and I've got another small resupply parcel there, and hopefully then Kinloch, and then 2 more days to Ullapool. It's been really good. The scenery has been fantastic, but it has been tough. Certainly the toughest walk I've ever done. So I am thinking take a couple more days and make it easy for myself. So it's nice to have the sun out. It was a bit miserable yesterday. Got quite wet, but luckily my wet weather gear was fine. And this path I'm on now was sloppy and wet and boggy and muddy. So I was very pleased to see where I pitched. So onwards and upwards, and that's back the way we've come. That little track on the other side of the river looks nice and easy walking, but doesn't really seem to go anywhere at all. So not sure why it's there. And this is where we're going. Going to climb about 100 metres, and it was 100 feet, and we get to a little loch there, and blue sky, and the sun's out, and it's lovely. So that's the way we've come. There's the river. And got a little bit more climbing to do. I think once we get to the last sort of telegraph pole there, we're pretty much at the top, and then it's a bit level. Got about 3 miles to Atterdale, and I'm hoping that there's a cafe in the gardens. We'll see. Up and over the top, and there's the little lochen, and a nice wooded area, and we're just going to follow the path. Well, the sun is out, and we're on this nice little path through the woods. I was just about to say it's not boggy, but there are a few bits. But this is lovely. Really very pleasant. Oh, and there's obviously been a lot of logging, but wonderful views of the mountains. So it's nice, easy walking. A couple of kilometres to Atterdale. Just met 4 elderly walkers who were walking the other way up to the little lochen, and they said there was a little self-service cafe in Atterdale, which is nice. I also might, if I can, jump on the train from Atterdale to Strathcarron. I know that the trains run infrequently and it's a request stop, but I just thought it might be easier and safer than walking a couple of miles along the A road. I suppose it depends if there are any trains along, but we'll see. I'll show you where I'm going now. And that's where we're headed, up there. There's a slightly cold wind today, but it's beautiful. It's really nice. It's lovely to see the blue skies and the sun out after yesterday. And looking down on Loch Carron, with Kirkdale on the other side, and Atterdale on this side, a couple of kilometres, and beautiful setting. Lovely to see the bluebells out. About half a kilometre from Atterdale now. Easy walking along this track. Well, I went to the little pay hut for Atterdale Gardens and spoke to 2 very nice women there, and they very kindly let me come in and use the tea room. These gardens are beautiful. I promised not to look at them because obviously I didn't want to pay £12.50 to get in, But you know, they're just fabulous. And if you're anywhere near the area, go and see them. They're wonderful. Also, rather than walking to Strathcarron, I think I'm going to get the train. There's one in about hour and 3/4, and I think that would be safer. So here's the tea room, I hope. So there's a very pleasant self-service cafe at Ascents Gardens. I had a sandwich and some cake and some crisps and some fizzy drink and sat down there. I decided it would be safer to get the little train that runs from Aden to, well, it runs from Carlow-Lacouche to Inverness, I think. And it's one stop to Strathcarron, so that goes in about an hour. Princely sum of £1.35 with a rail card, and I thought I'd just sit down and wait. It's a lovely day, but it is quite chilly. Beautiful views over Loch Carron. Look at that. And so hopefully I'll get to Strathcarron, assuming the train comes, at about 2:45, and I should be able to get into my hotel then. Oh, it's a bitingly cold wind. It really is. I'm just going to go into the little waiting room and sit down.